Hospitals, they're supposed to save lives, not take them. But on one February night in 1994, Riverside General Hospital became the scene of a huge medical mystery so bizarre it left doctors fainting, nurses convulsing, and scientists just scratching their heads. Tonight, we're going to go into the chilling case of Gloria Ramirez, known to many as the Toxic Lady.
Hello, sisters, rise up, the shadows creeping in. Time to claim the night, let the spooky games begin. Quick, grab your catch your candles.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Stories and Sass, where I bring you the stories and the sass, and you sit back, relax, and let the stories just engulf you. These stories can be funny, goofy, weird, stupid, or deadly and mysterious. It might keep you up at night, pondering in bed. Why? How? When? And today is one of those. Gloria Ramirez, who was she? So before she became what many people call on the internet a medical legend, she was someone that was kind of like many of us, just a 31-year-old mom from Riverside, California, except she was battling stage 5 cervical cancer. Many of her friends said that she was warm, loving, just a great person, warm and caring, but for Gloria, life was extremely cruel for her. Her cancer was extremely aggressive. The treatments were constantly failing and pain became a daily companion for her. And sometimes when you are getting close to death and you're in pain, you start getting desperate, and Gloria did. She wanted some type of relief from the pain, and some people were saying that she would rub herself with DMSO. So DMSO is a solvent sold as a pain reliever all the way back in the 60s, but later it was banned for medical use. What Gloria didn't know is that she was self-medicating with a chemical that would later become the center of this whole mystery. Let's get to the night where everything just went completely wrong. February 19th, 1994. Gloria's boyfriend will call 911 and say she's weak, she's vomiting, and she's struggling to breathe. That's serious when your airways get closed up, and at 8:15 the paramedics would wheel her into Riverside General ER and the staff would start springing into action. Side note, does anybody else know Riverside? I do. And they've got this is kind of like close to home, not that I lived there, but I lived kind of close to there, and Riverside kind of has a little bit of a reputation.
Here's some important things to know when visiting Riverside, California. Number 4, you're starving. You look up, you have no idea where you're at. You notice the street is called Madison. Cute name. You see a burger place called Johnny's. You get out of the car. Wrong.
So when I was reading the story and it said Riverside and this whole thing, I was like, oh, that doesn't help my... Not saying that everyone in Riverside is a certain way, it's just Riverside has a certain reputation around here, and it was interesting that this was coming from Riverside of all places. I was supposed to get my hysterectomy in Riverside, and I went to go see the doctor, and I was like, nope, we are getting out of here. But Gloria had no choice. This was emergency, so her heart was out of control. Her blood pressure was tanking quickly. So doctors started injecting sedatives, antiarrhythmics, and a prep for a defibrillator. So when you do that, you have to expose the chest, and when they exposed her chest, things started to get very weird. So first the staff noticed a strange oily sheen covering her skin, then a garlicky, fruity odor coming from her mouth. So then a nurse named Susan Kane would draw blood. Right when she drew the blood, a chemical just starts to fill the whole room.
While the ER staff was inserting an IV tube and drawing blood, an odor of ammonia was noticed, apparently coming from the patient's blood.
So someone named Julia peers at the syringe and they see a manila colored crystal floating in the blood. Pretty much something out of a horror movie. That would also keep me up at night. And it turned into a horror movie, except it was real life. Right when they noticed the crystal, bam, bodies just start collapsing. The nurse, Julia, faints to the floor. The woman that noticed the crystal starts to feel dizzy, rushes out. As she's running, she faints. There's a respiratory therapist, Maureen Welch. She starts convulsing. Muscles start locking up. One by one, the ER staff just falls like flies.
To add to the mystery, Dr. Umberto Ochoa, who was not affected, noticed white crystals in the blood.
I don't know what it could possibly have been.
So there were 37 workers, 23 of them are affected, and 5 end up hospitalized.
The nurse to start an IV that about coincidentally at the same time I smelled, ammonia. To me it was ammonia. And I kind of made a comment that, that's really strong ammonia, and I kind of felt, like I was gonna pass out then. So I moved around to the other side of the bed to get away from the fumes.
She then told me what she believes made her sick.
And in retrospect, which I shouldn't have done, I smelled the blood, and a few seconds later I wasn't feeling good myself, and just remember waking up being helped to be breathed with a mask.
So the ER, all that staff had to be evacuated. Then doctors come in, they're wearing protective gear, and they continue the CPR, but after 35 minutes of that, Gloria Ramirez is pronounced dead. She passed away around 8:50 p.m. And so the official cause comes out and it says kidney failure due to cancer, but no one could ignore the chaos that she kind of left behind. What was going on? What was the crystal? Why were people convulsing and falling?
The incident that hospitalized 6 medical workers, including 1 doctor, was so alarming to the staff at Riverside General Hospital that the emergency room was evacuated to the parking lot. It has not yet been determined what caused the emergency room workers to fall ill while treating a cancer patient who had been brought in by ambulance.
This hospital was in full panic mode. Was this a chemical attack? Was it a contagious toxin? What's gonna happen to those people? So they were extremely worried about what went on, and they had Gloria's body sealed up in like an airtight coffin and stored under heavy security because they don't know what that all was about.
For the autopsy 6 days later, the coroner's office built a specially sealed room, and the staff was protected with hazardous duty suits. Afterwards, everyone was hosed down with decontaminants. So far, the autopsy has provided no answers.
So California health investigators start to interview staff. The pattern is a little odd during the interviews. The people that were close to Gloria suffered the worst, but the tests were completely normal. So a lot of the experts were pointing to just mass hysteria, but tell that to Dr. Gorchinsky, who spent weeks in the ICU, suffering from hepatitis and bone damage. I don't know if you guys ever damaged your bones, but it's painful.
Julie was often hooked up to a breathing machine because she would suddenly stop breathing. This week, she has been feeling much better.
It's great to go to sleep and be reassured that you're gonna wake up.
Tim Johnson is in Los Angeles right now, and we of course certainly hope that the doctor will be restored soon to full health. But what is her condition at this moment, Tim?
She's been hospitalized at the Loma Linda Medical Center for 2 weeks. She's doing much better. I think she'll be discharged in the near future. Her doctors have studied her and said that they can't find evidence of strychnine or cyanide or organophosphates, the kind of poisons found in insecticides and pesticides.
So what about the autopsies? Well, they were a nightmare. After 3 separate procedures, Gloria's organs were mysteriously just missing or decomposed. The coroner just closed the case, ruling it natural causes. Gloria's family is furious, accusing officials of some sort of cover-up, but they can't really do anything about it except theorize. So 3 years later, the Lawrence Livermore National Lab drops a bombshell about this case. They suggest that Gloria's body was basically a walking chemistry experiment. If she used DMSO cream for pain, her body may have converted the drug to DMSO2, which then crystallized in her blood. Then when doctors shocked her with a defibrillator, it could have transformed into dimethyl sulfate, a gas so toxic it can cause seizures, organ damage, and fainting with just a whiff. Sounds like science fiction, sounds like a movie, right? But it seems to fit the evidence. But there was more theories. Many people said, no, I think it's another theory. And they argued, like skeptics argued, that the staff symptoms were more psychological, stress, fear, and so they thought mass hysteria. But many said mass hysteria doesn't cause hepatitis or bone necrosis. So next on that one. I'm still with the first one. But let's get to theory 3. Hospital accident or cover-up? If something like this happened to your family member, would you start to think that probably the hospital had something to do with it? Because for me, it would be very hard not to think that. And that's exactly what Gloria's family believed. They believed that something else was at play. Maybe a chemical leak, maybe a botched handling of her body, missing organs. That's weird. Gloria also had contaminated tissues. It all was just screaming shady to the family, and it honestly screamed shady to me too. But once again, they couldn't do anything about it. What are they gonna do? After this point, it's just done, I guess. All they can do is ponder in bed and wonder what was going on with that. Crystals in the blood? That's a little weird. Missing organ? So Gloria Ramirez was laid to rest 10 weeks after her death. She never knew that she was gonna become the center of one of medicine's greatest unsolved mysteries. Her case inspired TV shows.
I'm out.
You go. I'll wrap it.
Alone? You can't.
Back. 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 Back.
Documentaries and endless speculation. I was on Reddit forums about this and people are still just so obsessed with this case because people love unsolved mysteries because they're so annoying. They just want an answer. But to this day, no one knows for sure what happened to turn Gloria Ramirez into the toxic lady. Thank you guys so much for watching Stories in Sass, where we uncover some of the wildest mysteries that keep me up at night and make me a little sassy and irritated because I just want the answer. Don't forget to subscribe because we are going from toxic to terrifying with another story that'll keep you up all night, and I have to tell you about it.
Hello, sisters, rise up, the shadows creeping in. Time to claim the night, let the spooky games begin. Quick, quick, grab your cat, your candles, and your crew. The sun is down, the veil is thin. The hour's made for you. Slip on your heels, the night